So there's a supposed new conspiracy out floated by anonymous intelligence sources that the Russians are supposedly paying the Taliban to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan, and it's just a bunch of bogus bullshit drummed up by various intelligence agencies, probably somebody at the CIA, in order to further their interests, in order to further entangle us in more wars, to lead to further funding of the military industrial complex. Just another hoax like the whole Russiagate thing was. This is from Alan McLeod at Mint Press News, always a good read. Based on anonymous intelligence sources, the New York Times, WAPO, and Wall Street Journal released bombshell reports alleging that Russia is paying the Taliban bounties for every U.S. soldier they can kill. The story caused an uproar in the U.S., dominating the news cycle and leading presumptive Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden to accuse Trump of dereliction of duty and continuing his embarrassing campaign of deference and debasing himself before Vladimir Putin. This is beyond the pale, the former vice president concluded. And all the fucking usual Democrats who latched onto the fucking whole Russiagate narrative are again latching onto this because they're trying to attack Trump, and they don't really give a shit if there's any validity to it at all. They just see it as a way to attack Trump. However, there are a number of reasons to be suspicious of the news reports. Firstly, they appear to be all based on the same intelligence officials who insisted on anonymity. A little sketchy there, right? Some unknown source. Yeah, believe this. I can't go on record though. It's legit. You gotta trust me. That official could not provide any concrete evidence nor establish that any Americans actually died as a result, offering only vague assertions and admitting that the information came from interrogated, i.e., tortured Afghan militants. And again, torture is illegal, violation of human rights, and any type of information you get from torturing people is obviously not going to be reliable. They're being tortured. Those people will say anything that they think you want them to say to stop the fucking torture, you know? All three reports stress the uncertainty of the claims, with the only source who went on record, the White House, the Kremlin, and the Taliban, all vociferously denying it all. National security says also a history of using anonymous officials to plant stories that led to war. Iraq, right? In 2003, the country was awash with stories that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction, so-called WMDs. In 2001, anonymous officials warned of an impending genocide in Libya, while in 2018, officials accused Bashar al-Assad of attacking Douma with chemical weapons, setting the stage of a bombing campaign. All turned out to be untrue. Clouds on point there. After, what did I just do? After all we've been through, we're supposed to give anonymous intelligence officials in the New York Times the benefit of the doubt on something like this? I don't think so. Scott Horton, editorial director of antiwar.com and author of Fool's Errand, Time to End the War in Afghanistan, told Mint Press. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Again, what are the war in Afghanistan started in 2001? Almost 20 fucking years later? Really? Why the fuck are we there? Why the fuck are we there? All three stories are written in language conceding they did not know if the story was true, he said. They are reporting the fact that there was a rumor. Horton continued. There were claims in 2017 that Russia was arming and paying the Taliban, but then the generals admitted to Congress they had no evidence of either. In a humiliating debate, also in 2017, CNN claimed big scoop about Putin's support of the Taliban when furnished with some photos of Taliban fighters with old Russian weapons. The military veteran journalists at Task and Purpose quickly debunked every claim in their piece. Others were equally skeptical of the news scandal. The bottom line for me is that after countless Russiagate-related anonymous intelligence leaks, many of which were later proven false or never substantiated with real evidence, I can't take this story seriously. The intelligence community itself can't agree on the credibility on this information, which is similar to the situation with the foundational Russiagate document, the January 2017 intelligence assessment, said Joanna Leone, host of Around the Empire podcast, a show which covers U.S. military actions abroad. Suspicious timing. The timing of the leak also raised eyebrows. Peace negotiations. There you go. Again, they're wanting to further foment fear and hate and animosity, build up tensions towards Russia, keep more troops in the area, increase military spending, etc. Peace negotiations between the U.S. and the Taliban are ongoing, with President Trump committing to pull all American troops out of the country. Good, good. That's something positive. We should all be able to fucking support that. Get the fucking troops out of there, close all foreign military bases, cut the military industrial complex budget, I don't know, 90, 95%. How's that sound? A number of key anti-weapons of mass destruction treaties between the U.S. and Russia are currently expiring. We need to renew the shit out of that, work towards complete nuclear, abandoning all of our nuclear weapons programs, getting all the other countries to do the same, obviously. And a scandal such as this one could scupper any chance at peace, escalating a potential arms race that could endanger the world but enrich weapons manufacturers. Boeing, Lockheed Martin, General Electric, etc., Raytheon. Special Presidential Envoy in the Department of the Treasury, Marshall Billingsley, recently announced that the United States is willing to spend Russia and China into oblivion in a new arms race. Again, that's not what fucking the United States need. We have fucking universal healthcare during a pandemic, but we have the world's largest military budget. We spend more than the next 7 fucking countries combined. Fuck off, Marshall Billingsley, with that dog shit. Mimicking the strategy used in the 1980s against the Soviet Union. As a result, even during the pandemic, business is booming for American weapons contractors. National security state has done everything they can to keep the U.S. involved in that war, remarked Horton. If Trump had listened to his former Secretary of Defense, Jay Mattis, and National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, we'd be on year 3 of an escalation with plans to begin talks with the Taliban next year. Instead, Trump talked to them for the last year and a half and has already signed a deal to have us out by the end of next May. That's good, obviously. The same factions and profiteers always oppose withdrawal of troops are enthusiastic about the Bounty Gate story at a time when President Trump is trying to advance negotiations with the Taliban and when he desperately needs to deliver on 2016 campaign promises to improve his sinking electoral prospects. This is kind of funny because he's pointing fun at how the U.S. did this with the Mujahideen back when they were fighting the Russians in Afghanistan. Glenn Greenwald. What kind of monstrous country would fund and recruit fighters to attack occupying troops from an adversary country? It's an unprecedented breach of international ethics in all cases, but especially moral grotesque to do against a foreign military in Afghanistan. If Russia is paying the Taliban to kill Americans, they're not doing a very good job of it. And again, like, the Taliban doesn't need any fucking foreign funding. They've been doing this shit for fucking going on 20 years now, for God's sakes. From a high of 496 in 2010, U.S. loss in Afghanistan has slowed to trickle with only 22 fatalities in 2019, casting further doubt on the scale of their supposed plan. Ironically, the United States is accusing the Kremlin of precisely its own policy towards Russia and Syria. 2016, former acting director of the CIA, Michael Morrell, appeared on the Charlie Rose Show and said his job was to make the Russians pay a price for its involvement in the Middle East. When asked if he meant killing Russians by that, he replied, yes, covertly. You don't tell the world about that. You stand up to the Pentagon and say, we did this, but you make sure they know it in Moscow. Like Russiagate, the new scandal has had the effect of pushing liberal opinion on foreign policy to become more hawkish. Biden as example and other fucking Russiagate hacks. With Biden now campaigning being tougher on China and that's not what we need. I'm glad I'm not voting for either Biden or Trump. They're just so fucking shitty, both of them. Considering that the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists recently set their infamous doomsday clock, an estimation how close they believe the world is to nuclear Armageddon, again, nuclear Armageddon, to just 100 seconds to midnight, the latest it has ever been, then Democrats could be playing with fire. The organization specifically singled out U.S.-Russia conflict as threatening the continued existence of the planet. While time will tell if Russia did indeed offer bounties to kill American troops, the efficacy of the media leak is not in question. Again, we need to be de-escalating tensions with China, with Russia, with everybody, work towards peace, humanitarian aid, partnerships, etc. World does not need any more fucking war. U.S. military industrial complex needs to be brutally dismantled piece by fucking piece. Peace. Much love.